Let me look at my restream, sending data online. So we're online right now with certain people because we didn't play anything. See what the hell happens with this shit.
I know, it's so disgusting. It makes you mad. It's like you pay for all this crap or use all this crap and you think
pay
things
for
would
it.
get better. Hey.
Yeah, there you go. Look. Okay, so now you can repeat this in a few minutes because I'll jump out if people are like, oh, you're back. Okay, so what has happened is I've been thinking now for the last couple of weeks that something was in my streaming computer. And I was highly discouraged from running any kind of like a virus scanner or whatever, because apparently they can dump a lot of stuff on your system. But I put that to the side. And while we were down, Sunny stayed with me. I did run something called Malware Bytes, right? And so as I was doing, I talked to Sunny. It apparently found, actually, it was 3 files. Two of them, one it said was malware, 2 were fishy. So I put those in quarantine. And I said, all right, Sunny, I'm going to put her on air. We're going to see how this goes. We'll see if we're going to have any issues after this crap. Because I think I came home from the doctor on Monday and I went down to my streaming PC and I had TeamViewer on it. So Bird used to come in and set up the programs and stuff for this channel. And I came in from the doctor on Monday and I looked over at my PC and on the front screen, it said I had my TeamViewer had connected. Somebody was asking to connect remotely to it. Now, by the way, the only person that's ever done that was Bird, and I trust Bird, but I haven't talked to Bird in months. Okay, so having that pop up on your screen where somebody's trying to remotely access your PC, I don't normally talk about this stuff on air because what are y'all going to do? I don't want to sit up here and bitch and moan and complain to you guys, but it did happen. So I'm going to let Sunny go ahead and we're going to see if that maybe helped anything. And there you go. Go have at it, Sunny. And I'll I'll shut you down. You just give me the cue. I'll try to listen in for it. And because I think 412 and Pixels are not going to be here. I think Pixels is having internet issues today. There's a lot of people having internet issues.
Right.
And so, all right, I'm going to get out of your way. Make everybody laugh, sister.
Okay.
All right. Bye, my dear.
Thanks. All right.
You're welcome, honey.
Right.
Hey, by the way, if you need to go over, since you're at the end, you go over, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
No time limit. All right. Bye, baby.
All right. Thanks. All right. So anyone that's with me, I'm going to just do my usual clips. We'll see if this works. All right. I'm sharing my screen. And I'm going to quick go over a few article things that I came across. Hopefully it's informative. So this was in Yahoo News. I don't know if you'd heard about this. I hadn't. Look up the Perseid's, one of the year's best meteor showers, peaks this week. So this was from Monday, August 9th by Scott Sutherland. Let's get that off. And one of the best shows in the night sky is coming up this week. It's the Perseid meteor shower, peaks on Wednesday night, and this year it is not to be missed. Right now, as Earth travels along its orbit around the sun, the planet is passing through a stream of debris left behind by a comet known as 109P Swift-Tuttle. This comet only passes through the inner solar system once every 133 years or so. However, each year we are treated to a reminder that it's out there as Earth sweeps up the bits of icy debris it leaves behind on each pass. When these tiny bits of ice and rock plunge into the atmosphere, they produce the streaks of light we call the Perseid meteor shower. So, I'm trying to see if it says like kind of like north, south, east, west. I'm not really seeing anything like that. We actually have a clear sky here in Minnesota today. We have been having a lot of smoke, I believe, and then it looks gray out, like there's a constant cloud cover. It does not say, let's see, it does say the peak, which is spread out from evening hours of August 11th to the morning hours of August 13th is the best time to watch. So it says, but if you're planning to observe in the evening hours on August 11th or 12th, start after 10 p.m. and look either east or northwest. If you can locate the Big Dipper in the sky, look in the direction and you are bound to see some Perseids. So there was that. And then this kind of went under the radar. Melania Trump hits back at historian who mocked her rose garden renovations by Carmine Sabia, August 8th, out of Conservative Brief. I don't know if you caught any of this on Twitter, but somebody said Melania Trump is fighting back after the internet tore into her for changing the look of the White House rose garden. And she went directly to Michael Beschloss, a historian, who said that she destroyed American history with her redesign. Beschloss, DC, has proven his ignorance by showing a picture of the rose garden in its infancy. The rose garden is graced with a healthy and colorful blossoming of roses, and his misleading information is dishonorable, and he should never be trusted as a professional historian, the office of Melania Trump tweeted on Sunday. Remember all that kerfuffle when she had changed the rose garden and they were so upset, and so many people came out against it and stuff. And she, they explained why she did it. So let's see. Anyway, so she did hit back at it, which was nice. I'm trying to just look quick and see. This one didn't really describe why she changed it, but there was some explanations as to why she changed it. Anyway, glad she did put out a presser and hit back at them. Here's another thing that I've been kind of pondering. Tim Stark of Tiger King preparing major fight against PETA says they killed at least 20% of his animals seized from him. And this is out of the Gateway Pundit, and it's by Cassandra Fairbanks. Now, there was a story about a week ago. I believe it was about chimpanzees or monkeys. This woman had recovered some chimpanzees and monkeys that were held in captivity, and she had, a fairly decent setup, and supposedly one of the cages or some of the cages were too dirty for somebody, and they reported her to PETA. And maybe there's more to the story, but it sounded like if you take monkeys and chimpanzees and you put them back into back in the wild after they've been captive, chances are the way the groups are, is how the article explained it, is that they would be killed by other baboons, chimpanzees and stuff. They don't go out into the wild very well after they've been in captivity or raised from infancy. And plus the family hierarchy. Now, I don't know if this is anything that is true. You'd have to vet it for yourself. But what surprised me is I always thought, PETA was a little out there and over the top about stuff, but I thought, they helped animals. But now this is the second article I'm seeing about, them taking animals from somebody and they're not coming out well. So it's something to keep your eye on. And maybe you knew this about PETA. I did not know this about PETA. And I am starting to really of course, question anything that's out there. Oh, it just seems like all these things that I thought were maybe good or decent makes you wonder about them. So anyways, there was that. And then there was this. I thought it was kind of interesting, is the only reason I'm going to show this one. NASA wants paid volunteers to spend a year living in a 3D printed Martian habitat in Texas, where they will carry out spacewalks and research using VR tech, by Zara Tayeb. And this was from August 8th. And I just think that's really bizarro, just because of, kind of what people have revealed about NASA and things. I don't know. It's paid volunteers, apparently. Simulated Martian exploration mission. What goes along with that? They will have only limited contact with their family and friends back home and must learn to cope with restricted resources and equipment failures. Yikes. Anyways, just those things. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do my videos that I have saved. Let me see, get rid of this. And So this is the second thing, and for me, I just like to bring info. I won't tell you what to think, of course, because you need to think for yourself and check things out. I'm just sharing info. I like looking at things and trying to figure out perspectives, and oftentimes I just kind of put it in a little shelf or in a box in my mind and just stuff it. I don't usually make too many decisions on what I think is going to happen, or just kind of am watchful. So this was about Larry Elder. Um, so Larry Elder will allow men who think they are women into women's bathrooms if they transition. Now he's running for governor of California, and he's been putting out these videos. And the last one is that, and you can check the video out if you can find it. It said that he thought that Biden won the election fair and square or something. And yeah, so I just kind of wonder about him, because I hoped he was a good
My sister is
candidate.
transgender. She's lived for many years now. So would you not allow her to use the woman's restroom?
If she is made a transition from being a male to a female, a transition that has been done by whatever medical intervention there is, I see no reason why she ought not be able to use whatever bathroom she identifies as.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have I been muted a long time? Shoot. Okay. All right. You didn't hear my rant about well, I guess I didn't really rant. I was just saying this is odd about Larry Elder. Um, or maybe it's not so odd if they've transitioned and they've had surgery and everything, and um then maybe it's okay that they use the bathroom. But what I was saying is, like, we had gone a long, long time ago to Ireland, and in a couple of the pubs they were either private, or they had the door down to the floor, each stall, and it made it more private. And I was saying that I think it's odd that when you go to the gym and you shower in a big room, or in high school, how we had to shower in big rooms, or if you go to the, stores, why not spend a little bit more money to make the bathrooms private? I'm sure it's cost saving too, but of all the things you do, showering and going to the bathroom are the most private things I think you can do in public. Why couldn't they, you know, be complete stalls with more privacy options, I guess. Anyway, that's all. It was a little bit of a rant, I guess. Okay, so this was scenes from Turkey's after the floods hit the northern coast. Now, if you remember, just like last week, Turkey, and might even be in the last few days, Turkey's been having fires too. But this is wild. The sound is kind of low on it, but wow, massive, massive flooding. If this is really current, and if this really is happening. It was posted 46 minutes ago on Twitter. Just all these floods and fires are just bizarro. So it says scenes from Turkey after floods hit the northern coast. All right.
Now, I've recently got from a care company that I used to work for, or I work for, that has now sent me a letter saying that because I won't get vaccinated, that they're going to terminate my employment. Now, I'm not being funny, but I've worked in care homes where we've had days where we are so short on staff that we have had to go in and go, right, we will change your pads, we will make you comfortable, and we will serve you food, but we do not have the staff or the time to get you out of bed because we're so short-staffed. These residents in all these care homes are basically being abused with the amount of neglect due to staff shortages, and now they're sacking people because they refuse to get vaccinated. I just don't see how that's possible, because what's worse, being even shorter staffed, or the risk of bringing COVID into the home when they're all vaccinated anyway? It's now estimated that there's going to be about 40,000 people that are going to be let go from care homes because of these cutbacks, because of these precautions they're taking with people that are refusing to get vaccinated or declining to get vaccinated. I don't want to get vaccinated. It's still in clinical trial. I don't want it yet. In a few years, when it's actually past trials, I will get it. But I am not getting it, and now because I'm being forced to get it, I will not be getting it anyway. I'm not being funny. I've got my NVQ3 in care, so I don't understand how I've done that qualification and I'm still on minimum wage when I'm qualified. I could get a job at Aldi for £10 an hour, stacking shelves, whereas in care I'm expected to do CPR and first aid and have these people's lives in my own hands for £8.70 an hour. It's just not applicable anymore. It's not about person-centred care anymore. It's about money. It's not looking after the elderly. It's a money-making business. And that's just not something I want to be a part of. I started working in care because I care about the elderly. I genuinely enjoy looking after old people. And what has it come to? What is this all coming to?
So I would rather have somebody who cared about me than somebody who didn't. Oh my gosh, this whole thing we're going through right now is crazy. I'll leave it at that. These firefighters are demonstrating the dangers of deep frying a turkey. Oh my gosh. I bet if you looked up turkey videos, I bet you'd see some surprising things. I know when my hubs did our turkey that one year, he was really cautious. And apparently he had read up on it and stuff, so he was being really careful. But holy moly, if you don't read up on it and you don't know much about it, wow. That could get really crazy fast. So this is just for fun. Oops, it jumped ahead. There's no sound. He held on to his beverage. Oh, that's funny. Oh gosh, he down. All right, and this, there was another one of these where I believe it was in maybe Portland. This is Salem, I believe, and the other one was in Portland, where they got attacked, and Auntie Tifa was throwing things at children and women and attacking them.
What I know about the light shows up, the darkness has to flee. When the light shows up, the darkness has to flee. You know why they're doing this? I'll tell you why they're doing this. Because what's in them is terrified of what's inside of you. That's why they're doing what they're doing, you see? They're terrified. They're terrified. Careful. They're terrified. That's why they have to use violence. That's why they have to use hate, because they're not capable of love. What I know about
I like Arthur Pawlowski, and I think he's in the USA yet. Well, this was like 7 hours ago. I think it was in the last couple days. It was posted, but I do think he's touring some of the US. And he was that Canadian preacher that got arrested on the highway. Here's Never Give Up, Light and Love to You. All right, she did it. She kept trying. This is Chef Andrew Gruel.
So, our infrastructure bill's got a lot of pork in there, but the one thing that upsets me is that there was a great program that was available for restaurants and any small business. It was called the Employee Retention Credit Program. What it allowed small businesses with 500 or less employees, remember that, now we're talking small businesses here, it allowed them to effectively get an advance against taxes they had paid for Social Security taxes, or it allowed you to deduct money that you would pay into the program, Social Security taxes. It was really just a tax cut that put a lot of money in small businesses' pockets so that they could use that money for cash flow, cost of goods, labor costs, etc. But the idea was you were retaining your employees. That's how you got that credit. So it was a win-win for both employers and employees. Now, the $29.5 billion restaurant relief fund, it ran out of money right away. They're not even talking about, well, there's people talking about putting money back into those coffers, but so many restaurants were just left out in the dark on that one. A lot of big businesses got that, massive hotel groups, etc. And now here we are with this $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, and written in the fine print in the bill is they are going to extinguish the Employee Retention Credit Program, which effectively, as I said, is a tax cut, on September 21st. This was supposed to go through until December 31st. But as part of this infrastructure bill, once again, infrastructure, they're cutting the existing tax rebate plan that was in place for small businesses, restaurants especially, which is only going to screw them. That makes absolutely no sense. I mean, there's only the majority of this portion of the bill doesn't even go to infrastructure, and now they're just screwing restaurants. I mean, this was the one tool that restaurants still had to be able to get some sort of relief from here all the way through until December 31st, and they cut it to September 31st. It makes absolutely no sense, but it's another example where they're screwing small businesses, 500 or less employees, and they're giving those handouts to anybody who's got that big business, big lobby, big money right in their pockets. Nope. What about it?
I like hearing from, people like this with a different perspective, and that how it's maybe affecting the man on the ground versus, the big guy, or what they're telling us. It's so good for us, and it ends up not being good for us. Now, this was a woman who said she's a Loudoun County teacher, just broke into tears addressing the school board, saying she would not honor the transgender pronoun policy because of her faith. And she told the board she was quitting her job right there on the spot.
My name is Laura Morris. I have been a teacher in Loudoun County Public Schools for 5 years and a teacher for 10. In that time, I have learned so much, being on the cutting edge of educational technology and working with a diverse population of students that I have loved. This year, I have the privilege to follow my amazing fourth graders up to fifth, and I have been excited about this all summer. On the other hand, this summer I have struggled with the idea of returning to school, knowing that I'll be working yet again with a school division that, despite its shiny tech and flashy salary, promotes political ideologies that do not square with who I am as a believer in Christ. After reading about your lack of consideration for the growing population of concerned citizens in this division, clearly evidenced by this empty room tonight, where you shut the doors to the public, as well as the emails sent by the superintendent last year, reminding me that a dissenting opinion is not allowed, even to be spoken in my personal life, going so far as to send a form to my colleagues and I, encouraging us to fill it out if we hear one another speaking against the controversial policies being promoted by this school board and adopted in this county. Not only that, but within the last year, I was told in one of my so-called equity trainings that white, Christian, able-bodied females currently have the power in our schools, and that, quote, "this has to change." Clearly, you've made your point. You no longer value me or many other teachers you've employed in this county. So since my contract outlines the power that you have over my employment in Loudoun County Public Schools, I thought it necessary to resign in front of you. School board, I quit. I quit your policies, I quit your trainings, and I quit being a cog in a machine that tells me to push highly politicized agendas on our most vulnerable constituents, the children. I will find employment elsewhere. I encourage all parents and staff in this county to flood the private schools.
Wow, this is very compassionate and emotional. God, we're losing good people in good positions all because of this nonsense and crap that they're trying to push. But it seems like it has to be, at least for now.
And if you think you've seen the hammer drop, we haven't seen anything yet. They can't prove it. They don't have the receipts. So they use every aspect of lawfare, of the media, of the criminal justice system, of everything they possibly can to do what? To thwart the will of the American people. What happened in the Wuhan lab and who's responsible for it? That virus, number one. Number two.
So Steve Bannon was at the symposium the other day.
What happened on 3 November of 2020? Who's responsible and who's going to be held accountable? And the third is what happened on 1/6. Was it a failure of intelligence as we've been processed and been told? Or is it a failed intelligence operation against the American people? You get to the bottom of those three things, you find out who's responsible, and you hold them accountable, and you're going to get your country back. And all they want us to do is quit. All they want us to do is...
They may want us to quit. We're not quitting.
Say, yes, we'll get them in 2022, we'll get them in 2024. Let's go change some laws. Let's change laws in Georgia. Raise more money. No, that's the sucker's play. That's the great con. And if you want to see the con, you want to see the scam, just look at the vote today in the infrastructure bill. There is no reason a conservative should vote for that bill. As people question his legitimacy, his political capital recedes before us. You have the power on November 3rd. You have the power to get to the bottom of the 1/6. You have the power to get to...
He says we have the power.
The bottom of the Wuhan lab, where we've changed all what the world thought about it, right? That it came from some cave 1,000 miles from Wuhan and somehow mysteriously wandered up over the back roads and mountains of China to a wet market in Wuhan. We know that's a lie. And the one thing they can't stop is a righteous, relentless people that determine they're not going to back off.
A righteous, relentless people, that spirit of 1776 that is deeply embedded in this country that they can't get rid of. Loving patriots who love our country. Let's see. There.
I got in trouble today. One was in Vice. And it was, this Senate candidate is worried about anti-white racism. And that was the headline. That's supposed to be a bad head. I'm like, no, I am. I am worried about anti-white racism. I think that's the net effect of critical race theory. I'm against racism in all its forms. I don't care if it's anti-black. I don't care if it's anti-white. It is stupid. Racism does not belong in our schools. And if you look at the work that Chris Rufo is putting out, you will find, if you read it in good faith, you will find plenty of anti-white racism. So I'm not going to run from that label. That stuff is toxic. We have to get it out of our schools.
He mentioned Chris Rufo, and Chris Rufo does write a lot on Twitter about anti-racism. I just saw this and I thought, this is kind of interesting, right? You don't cover the earth in cell towers and radar stations that all emit a constant microwave frequencies at an ever increasing level if you are concerned about global warming. Yeah, what about that? That's interesting, isn't it? And then this woman cut down our recall team banners just now and stole them. Who is this thief? She cut down the banners with scissors and didn't think we were near. I caught her as she took off with committee property. Who is this thief? And this is Richie Greenberg out of San Francisco.
Go ahead.
Don't. And she loved that, how they always, like, she cut down their banners, but he asked her about them, and suddenly he's harassing her because he asked, why do you have my, property or my banners?
My property. You want to drop it right there? It's our committee's property. You're now taking off with it. You have taken the committee's property. A legal committee doing legal work, collecting signatures and advertising. You're holding in your hand our property. Where are you going to take our property, ma'am? Where are you going with it?
And then this is the video isn't very good, but it says, man in cuffs saves policeman's life from choking on gum, and it's a dash cam, catches cop.
I got you, bud.
I don't know. Do you think that's real? I kind of question whether it's real or not, because even like his hat is kind of odd, and just some of the, I don't know. I don't know if that's a real video or not. I found it interesting though. I hope it's a real video. I hope people would help each other out like that. Let's see.
Here out because we know the media won't ever cover this. This is John Magufuli, former president of Tanzania, died March 17th, 2021. This is Hamed Bakayoko, former prime minister of the Ivory Coast, dead March 10th, 2021. This is Jovenel Moise, former president of Haiti, died July 7th, 2021. This is Pierre Amadou Kali, the former prime minister of Ivory Coast, died June 6, 2020. This is Ambrose Dlamini, former president of Eswatini, died December 13th, 2020. This is Andry Rajoelina, president of Madagascar, and he just survived an assassination attempt. Can you guess what they all had in common, except for all dying within a year of each other? They all denied the vaccines in their country. I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
Sure, it's just a coincidence. Let's see. This is a headline out of NTD. Beijing's antitrust regulators are investigating American investment firm Blackstone over a $3 billion deal with one of China's largest real estate developers. Let's see.
American investment company Blackstone is one of China's largest real estate developers. Beijing's investigation by antitrust regulators could hold up the $3 billion deal for around 6 months. And if approved, it will be the company's biggest bet on China's commercial real estate. News of the deal boosted Soho China's share price by 88%.
I pulled this one just because it's Blackstone. We keep hearing about Blackstone and real estate.
To 59 US cents in June. Since July 22nd, amid rumors that Beijing authorities might investigate the deal, their stock price dropped by 22% to 41 US cents. A competition law expert at Beijing Intellectual Property Law Association told the Economic Observer on Saturday that the deal may pass, but he said there could be another investigation focusing on national security concerns. Soho China owns and operates 20 real estate projects in Beijing and Shanghai. Patrick Hayden.
So more interesting news about Blackstone.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have. To tell the truth.
I think I have seen this clip of Denzel before, but it's kind of interesting.
Not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it. Sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at. Including BS.
Well, in that case, then CNN and Washington Post and New York Times have gotten really good at BS. You could call them professionals. This is just a feel good. The Friesen horse is a breed originating in the Netherlands. Although now known for their long, lustrous manes, stunning beauty, they were once in great demand as war horses, as their size and strength enabled them to carry a knight in full armor. There's not much sound. You can kind of hear the trotting. So pretty. You can hear a car alarm. So magnificent. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful creatures. This was out of the Department of Defense on August 9th. Not hearing too many people talk about it.
Exercise front. Conducting what they call large-scale global exercise 21, LSGE 21, through the 27th of this month. It began back on the 2nd. The exercise is a proof of concept global command and control pilot exercise with a regional focus, linking existing planned service joint and multilateral exercises to conduct an operational level maneuver. U.S. forces will participate alongside the United Kingdom, the Australian Defense Force, and the Japanese Self-Defense Force. LSGE 21 is an all-domain exercise across the Indo-Pacific in air, land, and sea, field training, cyber and space operations, and special operations activities and logistics. It's going to improve our interoperability, it's going to strengthen our alliances and partnerships, and it offers a complex and challenging multinational environment for forces to hone their skills. Exercise.
So there was that. And I found this kind of interesting. Tax his land, tax his wage, tax his bed in which he lays, tax his tractor, tax his mule. Teach him taxes is the rule. Tax his cow, tax his goat, tax his pants and tax his coat. Tax his ties, tax his shirts, tax his work, tax his dirt. Tax his chew, tax his smoke. Teach him taxes are no joke. Tax his car, tax his grass, tax the roads he must pass. Tax his food, tax his drink, Tax him if he tries to think. Tax his soda, tax his beers. If he cries, tax his tears. Sure does feel like it sometimes, like all that stuff is taxed, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Okay, and then Thor the Deplorable put out the Internet of Bodies, or as I would call it, the doorway to hell.
They call it part revolution.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change. Up until now, the conversation we've been having is around freedom of speech. Once we can access people's thoughts and access people's emotion.
The focus, as all of you know, today is on
they want to access our thoughts and emotion. Wow.
It's now called the Internet of Bodies, involving medical implants and other kinds of devices that go inside your body, and all together with the Internet as a whole comprise the Internet of Bodies.
The Internet of Bodies, or IOB, is actually an ecosystem. It's a bunch of devices that are connected to the Internet that contain software and that either collect personal health data about you or
Kelly, tell us this freaky stuff all the time.
Alter the body's function. We think of the Internet of Bodies as this collection of all these devices as well as all the data that the devices are gathering about you. And in healthcare, it's Internet of Bodies has been around for quite a while.
So the Internet of Bodies, imagine the power of AI. What is artificial intelligence? It's a way to automate computation and cognition.
I don't know. Why are these people so obsessed with, matching us up to tech and our bodies?
So we can now automate learning, perceiving, doing computation. It's a pervasive general purpose technology that will be used in all of our industries, that will come into our professional networks, our private networks, our schools, our industries and our offices. What I wanted to epitomize with the Internet of Bodies is this notion that we will be under assessment, we will be under measure.
We'll be under assessment, under measurement. Oh my gosh, these people are nuts.
Of computation in every aspect of our lives in the future, from what you eat, who you date, what you buy on the internet, how much energy you use, but also what are your vital signs, how well are you doing in terms of health, what kind of specific genetic
it's none of your freaking business.
quirks do you have? What's your genome telling about your health, about your mental health, about how well you are doing, how well you are aging, what kind of disease you are susceptible to?
It has a bit of an Orwellian twinge to it.
A bit of an Orwellian twinge? Oh, yeah. Anyway, Tornado Warlord gets up close, amazing footage. This one I don't think it has any sound. I like these storm ones just because it's so wild and you're probably never going to see, well, hopefully you don't see it up close like this yourself unless you're safe and you know what to do, but just the force of nature is so wild. Oh my gosh, look at all the way the crops are just pushed over. And it swirled on the highway there. Weird. Weird how it's going down the highway and looks so odd. I do believe Illinois was in for some storms today. Now I'm not sure if they were severe or not. I don't know if you all enjoy that, but I do enjoy watching the storm clips and just to see how powerful nature is. And my joke is that I run down in the basement to be safe and my husband runs outside to watch. See if we need to be in the basement. Oh gosh. That's pretty crazy. Oh, there's a little bit of sound he got. I wonder what is he just in a car? What is he in that he's getting this close to that? Wow. Well, he is in a car and he's that close. What a nut. I'm glad he got the footage, but whoa. That's pretty wild. All right. I thought this was interesting. It looks like this tree is climbing its way back to level ground. Isn't that amazing that it's falling over, but it's like trying to like save itself too, and it's like got its roots into this hill so it doesn't fall. I thought that was pretty amazing. Interesting. Let's see. I think it's a violent tornado. This guy gets excited, and I think he says it's a violent tornado.
Oh my. Look at all the debris. It's ripping up the trees. It's about to cross the road.
Is that not? Oh, check it
Look
out.
at that. Oh my God. Yeah, go check on the house. Check to see if they're okay. That is a violent tornado. Violent tornado. Violent tornado.
Did you see how fast that?
Wow, you can see where it jumps and when it hits something, how much.
Violent tornado east of Sycamore, Illinois. Violent tornado.
How much it picks up and.
Easily. That is easily an EF2. Violent tornado east of Sycamore. Make a call. Somebody call.
I don't know if he's just excited or if that's code or slang to them about the tornado. But this one, I'll play the clip with the music a little bit, but then I'm going to shut the music off because I don't want us to get dinged. But I believe this one has some music with it. So that's the music that goes along with it. But isn't this funny that he does this with their shadows, or she, or whoever's doing this? This is so funny. I don't know if this is for real or not. It looks like it could be, though. Like if you got your lighting just right and you have the, the object you wanted to use. Isn't that funny? I don't know. All right. Let's see. I just pulled this one because U of Iowa only Big Ten university without masking requirement for fall, but we'll see if that changes. But the University of Iowa stands alone among its Big Ten peers in requiring neither vaccinations nor masks when students return to school this fall. However, that could change. I do see that the University of Minnesota was saying that they couldn't mandate vaccinations, but now they're saying if they get approved in September that they will go for it. So these are this person says these are starlings giving you an air show. I love in the fall when the birds, we have a bunch of oak trees around our house, probably like 10 or more, very mature old oak trees. And the birds, when they flock up in the fall, it's like The Birds, the movie. It's pretty wild.
Wow. Zo, maar dit zijn echt hele patronen. Mooi. Nou, dit is echt prachtig.
Ja,
oh, het geluid alleen al. Roel. Oh, dat is echt heel mooi dit hier.
I've never seen a group of birds that big, but I have seen the birds, flock up and do kind of different, things when they're flying around. It's pretty wild. I don't know. Is that real? Golly, look at some of this stuff and go, is it real? Have you ever seen anything like that?
Een auto die voorbij rijdt.
Pretty wild. They do flock up in big
Het zijn een soort inderdaad. Ik vind het indrukwekkend. Kijk, een hart.
I wish it was clearer. I don't know if that's my computer or if it's their video. Wow. Let's see. And I think this might have music to it too. I might have to shut the music off. But this is a rescued juvenile eagle musters up the courage to face the unknown to find his freedom. So that's the music. So beautiful. Look at that wing spread on that. Huge. Wow, they're so beautiful and majestic. I don't know about you, but I just get kind of mesmerized by looking at all the features on them and the intricate detail. Wow, how they fly and move and just so amazing. Makes me kind of forget about the world and politics and all that. Wow. And it's off. Let's see, what else did I pull? Oh, Cat Turd had put this out. Here's my I don't need a vaccine passport. So this was, I believe this is Lollapalooza, where they didn't have, were required to wear masks. And then there was Obama's party, 60th birthday party. But then Fauci went on air and said how the Sturgis biker rally was going to be a super spreader, but he failed to mention how his buddies had this party for like 2 or 3 days is what I saw recently, is that they not only did 1 day of partying, but they had like 3 days of partying. And then this was a 2-day event too, before they told them, I think, to mask up. I thought this one was funny. When COVID is over and you can finally finish the 8th grade. What it feels like. And then someone caught this on video. Tree struck by lightning bolt. That's pretty wild. Got so hot it burned the whole trunk up. All right. And then, as you know, I really like Dr. Scott Jensen. He's running for governor in Minnesota. And I think he's a perfect example of an outsider and what uniparties do to people who are outsiders. He says this is the fourth time the Minnesota Board of Medical Practice has investigated my medical license. Why? I had the audacity to submit an affidavit requesting a temporary restraining order before government starts vaccinating 12 to 15-year-olds. Big government may come for you next.
Hi, Dr. Scott Jensen. And yes, I'm running to be the next governor of Minnesota. This is number 4. Confidential from the Board of Medical Practice. I received this afternoon when I got home. Complaint regarding petition for temporary restraining order. Basically what this complaint is regarding the Minnesota Board of Medical Practice is that I had the audacity to participate in my legal rights as a part of America's frontline doctors and request a temporary restraining order. Evidently, I don't get to participate in some of the normal legal channels that most Americans would. Now I've got to submit to them a description of my current practice situation, the current status of the temporary restraining order, and or the U.S. District Court's ruling on the matter, any additional information that you'd like the board to consider. These are allegations. I was asked to submit an affidavit in regards to the temporary restraining order in terms of vaccinating 15 to 12-year-olds. I did that, 1 page, and I said, as a board-certified family practitioner, and FDA guidelines regarding vaccines for young people, and as a result, I am requesting an immediate TRO to halt this request. In addition to the direct threat posed to my young patients, an additional unwelcome consequence of using coercion to mandate the participation of healthy young people who are at a statistical zero risk relates to a possible reduction in the public trust in all vaccines. And I've seen that happen. I've had patients come in, I've had moms come in and say, we're not doing any vaccines. We're so concerned about vaccines in general. There was a mistake where the lawyer put me down as a plaintiff, and so I sent to the lawyer, I said, per our previous conversations, thank you for removing my name as a plaintiff for the petition submitted. I submitted an affidavit. This was the extent of my involvement and is the only document that I reviewed and signed. So I'm going to get through this. But this is an article from Breitbart today, and this confuses me. The White House refuses to endorse a vaccine mandate for migrants released into the U.S. What this means is President Joe Biden continues promoting coronavirus vaccine mandates for American citizens, but the White House still struggles to explain why that standard is not applied to migrants crossing the southern border. In McAllen, Texas, 7,000 migrants who are positive for the virus have been released into the city since February, including 1,500 people in the last 7 days. And this article was August 7th. 1,500 people in the first week of August with positive virus have been released into McAllen, Texas. McAllen has declared a state of disaster in response to the crisis, opening up funding, allowing them to tackle the crisis. The White House did not follow up regarding a question from the Breitbart News about a possible vaccine mandate for migrants. So we're going to start vaccinating kids. Ultimately, that will be some sort of de facto mandate, but we won't do that for the migrants coming across the southern border at the tune of potentially hundreds and hundreds every day. And I'm getting dinged by some anonymous accuser because I said that I think we should have a temporary restraining order before we start vaccinating 12 to 15-year-old kids. It's not going to stop. But what should happen is you should be concerned too. This might just be about me this time. But someday they might come for you.
And he doesn't mention like 15 on up, but I do believe he is vax choice and not mandating vax. He does seem like he wants to follow the Constitution. So from his other videos, I think that's what I felt that's what he has expressed. Something tells me this isn't their first rodeo at this house. They do look like they're possibly looking for food and seem like a little bit familiar. Oh, there it is. Well, that's why they're there looking for food, because he feeds them. Meanwhile, in Australia,
door open for 1 minute. Really? Where are you going? Where are you going? Have you made a good choice? I don't think you have. Go on. Where'd you go? Go on. Quick sticks. Good boy. Good boy.
I'm thinking that wasn't the first time she's had one of them in her house. James Bond level cool. 007 edition. Hey, and it catches the bullets too. So like if you want to, can't think of the words that whatever, when you redo them and you put gunpowder in them again. I don't think I showed any of these last week. I do a show on PSB sometimes as a sub, and then I get my shows mixed up, but I'm going to show this one, even if I've shown it before.
Sonny, can I take a... Oh, chili?
Soko, was that you?
Yeah, it was me. Can I take real quick just to show something on the Frank speech real quick?
Absolutely.
This guy's doing an analysis. Just really quick, you stay with me, okay? If you have time. Okay, hang on. I'm going to show this. I don't even give a shit.
And things seem to be going okay, right? We have buffering or
I'm not
anything?
cutting off YouTube. I hate to not do that. I could probably lose my YouTube channel. I'm encouraging you on YouTube. Please follow us on other platforms because I'm not turning it off. Fuck it. Okay. By the way, Ass Stethoscope, you are hilarious. That's me who you interact with out there. I'm 505. Okay. Did I share my audio? And let me share my video. He's going over this. There's this. There's this. That's up.
It's not
Oh, did I have to pause it? Shit.
bad. How do we think the Democrats did in the U.S. House in 2020? Minus 13. Not one single Republican House incumbent was defeated. So everyone showed up to vote Republican down ticket, but make sure we put a new president in. The trend of Florida. Anybody from Florida here? Florida, Michigan, and Pennsylvania have strong correlation with their working class vote. The next slide I'm going to show you is a little busy, but it could be busier. This trend goes all the way back to 1932. The red and the blue, this represents the party that made gains in those states, not necessarily the party that won. George Bush carried Florida in '88, but I have it in blue because the state went several more points towards Democrats. 8 points, actually. So you have a Republican state, but it trended blue. So likewise, Pennsylvania and Michigan followed Florida. So Florida was my lead indicator on election night. I was watching for a Trump win larger than 1.2%, which would suggest to me, based on 88 years of statistics, that Pennsylvania...
Hang on, illegal said I had a gray box. Hold on.
Is it because you don't? Sorry, didn't mean to yell in your ear.
No. It's there's nothing in front of the screen right now. Look, I'll show you my whole screen. Stop sharing. Show you my entire screen. The whole damn thing.
It's your picture, though, isn't it?
Points more Republican.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Okay. To the left. Yeah. So the trend of Florida has serious correlation to what goes on in the industrial Midwest. This is definitely going to interest you. This is Trump's performance in the battlegrounds. So we could be talking about counties, we could be talking about states. Clearly, in Arizona, we're really talking about one county, although we could certainly make a case for Pima County for a forensic audit as well, and maybe that will happen. When a Republican candidate, when the Republican brand loses steam, and you can see this pretty much as far back as you want to look, you see a flatlining of votes, which usually corresponds with registration data, and then you see a decline in Republican vote shares and then a coalition shift in the opposite direction. Not the gains that President Trump made in 2020. This is Maricopa County. Let me tell you what you're looking at here. You're looking at net from previous election. In 2004, George Bush had a record Republican vote gain in Maricopa County of 199,000 votes from 2000. And then John Kerry had 118,000 more than Al Gore did. That is the Democrat record in Maricopa County for new votes gained in one election, 118,000. Barack Obama had 97,000 new votes from Kerry. Then he was flat in 2012. Then Clinton had 101,000 new votes from Obama's 2012 performance. You can see here that Donald Trump carried Maricopa County with fewer votes than Mitt Romney had 4 years prior, still carried the county. Now this year, this is a county that hasn't been Democrat since 1948. 1948, a long time ago. Donald Trump says Republican record vote gain coming in Maricopa County, 248,000 new votes. And then 338,000 net new Biden votes from 2016 to win the state by 10,000. Okay, so this is why, even if you can't put it into words, why there's an audit going on in Maricopa County. Okay. I was just in Georgia last week. You know, the South is great for hospitality. I grew up in the South. Who's from Georgia? I know Candace was here earlier. Anybody from Georgia? No? Okay, so in a Republican stronghold, in a place like Texas or Georgia, a lot of the strength for the Republican Party comes out of suburban counties or exurban counties. These are turning into your new suburbs. You used to have Cobb and Gwinnett were the suburbs of Atlanta. So now they're becoming even more populated, and of course people are spreading out further to counties that are further away. I want you to see the Republican brand when there's not much enthusiasm for it, and you can really see it here in the middle. This is 2012, 2016. These 5 counties are exurban or suburban Atlanta counties, and these are Republican strongholds. The way the Republicans win Georgia is these counties and the rural areas overwhelm Atlanta, period. And if you ever get to the point where Metro Atlanta overwhelms this, the Democrats do win the state. These counties here, Forsyth, Hall, Cherokee, Paulding, and Coweta, they grew tremendously from 2004 to 2008 from a small number of votes, which is why in 2 of these counties, you do have a higher percentage vote gain than we have for Trump in 2020. But remember, raw votes percentage, there is some change here. But we have Romney. Romney didn't motivate the conservative base. So we have some population growth that leads to vote growth. This is 10% vote gain, 20%, 30%. And then Trump. In states like Georgia, you have the Never Trump coalitions, and I'll show you in Texas, you had the same thing with the Ted Cruz grudge going on in Texas. You see this flat vote share for Trump, even with some population growth, Romney and Trump here. So the year we lose Georgia, the year Donald Trump loses Georgia with a record gain of 373,000 statewide, is when Trump goes 21 to 24% gain in all of these counties in 2020. These are the so-called suburban women who abandoned Trump, okay? These are the suburban voters who abandoned Trump with record gains on a record new population growth, so tremendous amounts of votes. And in Forsyth County, you may not see it on my slide because I don't want to make it too busy, but in Forsyth County, the Democrats grew their vote share by 80%. So you have a 14% loss in Republican margin in this county. So all these counties are anywhere from 7 to 14% margin loss for Trump with record vote gains in these counties. You're getting Atlanta closer to pull the absentee game by trimming margins in these counties. These are some Democrat strongholds throughout our country. Cuyahoga County. Anybody from Ohio? This is Cleveland's county here. Okay, then we have Bronx and Manhattan, New York, and we have Cook County, Illinois, Chicago. This is percentage of votes gained from 2016. This gives you an example of how we have a very wide variance of support for Biden based in the major metros across the country. I could show you the same for Indianapolis, Baltimore, Boston. We have 4% Democrat gain in Cuyahoga County, Cleveland, less than 1% in Bronx, 4% in Manhattan, and 7% in Chicago. Now, of course, 7% in Chicago is still a pretty decent amount of votes. What do you think I'm about to show you next? Because this is blocking something out right here. Okay, I'm going to show you the 4 major Democrat counties in metro Atlanta: Cobb, Gwinnett, Fulton, and DeKalb. So there's no matching trend here at all. And these counties